of Ivanovic. What a name to have back in. He was genuinely world class at one stage at Chelsea. Short corner taken, it's off the training ground and the shot comes in from outside the area. Might have taken a deflection, Kravinovic's shot, as it came through, and I think he has given a corner, has he? 2.5 minutes gone, it remains 0-0. Let's just see this one again. Might have actually come off of Grant last.
Yeah, I think he did. It's a decent move. I mean, to be honest, it is a little bit telegraphed. You can see it coming. The ball that's going to go out onto the edge of the box for somebody to come onto and finish, and it's a side foot shot, and it ends up, Grant's trying to turn it in. I think he probably would have been offside anyway. He ends up putting it out for a goal kick to Burnley, but it's a strong start from West Brom.
Ivanovic is a fascinating one, isn't he? I mean, 36 years old. Do you think that that's about leadership and about bringing the right sort of attitude, sort of top class attitude? Because, I mean, legs wise, he's not going to be what he once was. Like, he played right back for a long time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I played against him. Very, very strong player. You know, when my job in the Stoke team was to basically win goal kicks, and when you've got Ivanovic in front of you or just behind you, and Ballack in front of you, it becomes very, very difficult to do that. Great player in his day. He's obviously not the player that he was, but he might bring some stability to this West Brom team. Centre half, I don't know. I think he can be found out. 36 now.
They look the more positive side to West Brom, as Kravinovich tried to spread the ball out to the left hand side towards Grady Dean Gardner, and he is much more central, Kravinovich, in this starting 11 than perhaps we expected, and it's out on the right hand side that we see Matias Pereira playing, as the ball is played up towards Barnes, and we've just seen it there, that little bit of guile from Ivanovic to nod the ball away, and West Brom have it in the midfield. Back and out to the left hand side to Townsend. Infield for Jake Livermore, who'll play that, I guess what Americans call it, like a quarterback position between the defence and his own slightly more advanced midfielders. Pereira manages to shovel the ball back down the right hand side to Furlong. There's Grant coming back into his own half and working it to Kravinovich.
Played some nice stuff, West Brom. First 5 minutes of this game, they're playing all the football. Burnley, for me, they look very tepid. They're not necessarily nervous, but they certainly are portraying a team that has not got a point on the board this season at all. There's no guile there. There's no ingenuity or anything out of the ordinary from them.
One goal of their 3 has come from open play, as the ball is played up the right hand side by West Brom to find Conor Gallagher, who is the most advanced of the central midfield players. That's worked out to the right hand side by Livermore to Pereira. Tricky player, manages to get his cross in. It's deep, it's headed back into the 6-yard box, and then it's shoveled behind. There were 2 players going for it, one from each side, Grant, and I think it was Long, and it has gone behind. A goal kick has been signalled, but that was one of those where the referee, I think, has just gone for safety first, because I think it should have been a corner.
Well, I think it should have been, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that play whatsoever. It's a great cross. Header is one at the back post. It gets headed back across, and Grant goes for it. Tarkowski goes for it, and he puts it out for it, but I really don't understand that. It's a bit bizarre, but it's West Brom making all of the running in this game. It really is. They're going to go for Burnley for at least the first 15 minutes, I think, in this game.
Foul on Barnes, midpoint of the West Brom half, just shades to the left of centre in this clash of 2 of the most traditional clubs in English football, 2 of the founding members of the Football League, just the 132 years of history in English football now. The first meeting of these back in 1888, September 1888. West Brom won 4-3. We'd take that today, wouldn't we, from a neutral's point of view?
I remember it well.
You're only 134. I don't believe you. At TalkSport Live is your way to get in touch if you wish. Westwood places the ball down. McNeil delivers it into the box. There might have been a little collision of heads outside the 18-yard box. It's cleared away by West Brom. Back into the box. Aerially it goes from Burnley. And they've won it with some good pressing high up out to the left-hand side. Ball in from the left. And it's taken a little deflection. Made its way out to Johan Berg Gudmundsson out on the right. He comes back down the line for Peters. Ball in. Awkward for the goalkeeper. The referee has adjudged Wood to have fouled Johnston, and it's not that often that you see a striker towering over a goalkeeper, but that is the case with Wood and Johnston, and I mean that is typical old school Sean Dyche football, isn't it? Get it in the box, stick it in the mixer and cause some panic with two big boys up there. This time though he's adjudged to have fouled the keeper, Johnston.
Yeah, I mean I don't know whether I'm probably biased on this, but Wood doesn't do anything wrong, does he? He jumps for the ball, he's trying to win a header. It just so happens that the keeper's there as well, and the keeper, he doesn't catch it, so he gets a free kick. This is just complete nonsense, this whole this protection of goalkeepers.
Anthony Taylor, our referee today, he'll be hoping to avoid some of the controversy we've seen for officials in the last couple, as there's a foul there on Conor Gallagher, man on loan from Chelsea. Just 20 years of age, England under-21 international. He's got goals in him. Got 6 on loan, 2 different loans last season in the Championship, Charlton and then Swansea. Played 47 games, so that is a good grounding for a teenager in the Championship. And this free kick will be taken on the right-hand side, just inside Burnley half by Pereira. Back it goes to Ivanovic. Ball forward looking for Grady Diangana with the dyed blonde hair. Forward it goes again by West Brom's right back Furlong. In midfield it goes now and out towards the left-hand side. Diangana's first touch isn't the best. Peters comes in and playing in the unfamiliar position of right back. Usually he'd be left-sided. They've got 2 left backs in the team in Taylor and Peters today, but he's been a reliable servant for Stoke and now for Burnley. Hegazi, 100th start for Hegazi for West Brom today. To his new centre-back partner Ivanovic, now to the right for Furlong, who safety first goes back to Johnston, the goalkeeper, formerly of Manchester United. Good stock. He always said that about players that came through at Man United whilst Alex Ferguson was there. Be interesting to see if that sort of reputation dies a little as they take their time to get back to the heights that they once reached. Diangana, midpoint of the Burnley half, out on the left-hand side, comes back to Livermore. Now Ivanovic, little juggle with the ball as it bounced in front of him, and he turns it right for Furlong. Now the flowing blonde-haired locked figure of Gallagher, and it comes out towards the right-hand side, telegraphed pass, and into touch it goes for a throw into Burnley. 10 gone, 0-0, and no real chances of note. And this is one of those games where I think either would just take a 1-0, wouldn't they, Dave?
Oh, absolutely. No, there's not going to be much in this. We can already see it in the first 10 minutes. What is encouraging, actually, is that the 2 main attacks, one from each team, has resulted in, I counted 5 West Brom players in the box when the cross came in, 6 for Burnley at the other end. So they are committing when it's right to do so. But in open play, it is a little bit reserved at the moment.
Westwood's ball forward was cut out by West Brom out on their left-hand side, and into touch it goes. Throw in taken by the right back Peters. It's a very heavy touch there by Tarkowski. Has he taken that out of play? He's not done so, and the ball comes forward, it gets headed away, and it'll eventually drop to Wood, but 2 blue and white shirts around him. Livermore shepherds it out to the far side. Good work by Jake Livermore, good awareness, and he's got a throw for his team. It'll be taken by Connor Townsend. It's lost again, wasted. Westwood's ball forward, header on by Barnes, won't find a teammate, smashed away by the Baggies, and it'll be allowed to bounce by Peters. Can Dejan Gardner pick up the second ball? He can. Dejan Gardner now moving it into the centre of the field. There's an awful lot of ground to be made up for Darnell Furlong. He was never realistically going to do it, and Long can smash it clear from on his own goal line for Burnley. Into touch on this near side.
Yeah, we need better quality there really from Dejan Gardner. He gets into a good position 10 yards outside of the box, tries to play it infield, and it's a really poor ball. It's a really, really poor ball. It's in between everybody and gets easily cut out. But it's really frustrating there for a manager, and certainly as for players as well. Just when you need that little bit of quality, you get let down, and they need better from him.
There was no foul in the middle there by Westwood, and it's going to break for Burnley. Here's McNeil. Can he find a teammate? He does, in Brownhill. Back to McNeil, inside left position, making his way up towards the byline. There's the cross. Keeper spilled it, but just about shovels it in at the second attempt on the edge of his 6-yard box. But there's definitely some attacking endeavour from both of these two sides. McNeil always the biggest threat for Burnley.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what McNeil can do. I mean, if I was a striker, if I was Chris Wood in this team, every time McNeil gets the ball, I would be pulling off to the far post, because he's got a wand of a left foot. He can put it right on your head and cause defences all sorts of trouble.
This is nice football by West Brom. 2 or 3 passes strung together, and then Dejan Gardner, a rather robust challenge on him by Eric Peters. And in fact, it was Kevin Long that's fouled him. And it's a free kick to West Brom in a rather promising position towards the left-hand side. Long with his most innocent looking face on.
He did as well. He did. I would have based on that face, I would have let the game go on. He's the most innocent person
and
ever.
This is why Dave Kitson is in the commentary box and not reffing the
game. Exactly. This is why former professionals don't referee, if ever you wanted to know.
2 options over this free kick. Pereira would be the out-swinging left foot option. Krovinovic with the right if he wants. It's he who runs over it. So Pereira, the Brazilian, deep ball in. That's meat and drink for the England goalkeeper Nick Pope. Kept a clean sheet for England, didn't he, during the international break? He spoke about how he does not just turn up to international duty to support Jordan Pickford and be his number 2. He believes he can be number 1. And, I think everyone believes that anyone can be number 1 at the moment, given Jordan Pickford's form. But he doesn't do anything wrong for England, does he, really? To be fair to him,
he turns up.
You're not a fan of Pickford?
No, I certainly am not. No, not at all. Not in a million years.
What is it? Is it? He's a perfectly capable keeper, isn't he?
Well, it's that old adage, isn't it? It's like, he's a great shot stopper. Well, that's great. You're a goalkeeper. That's what we want.
But he can
it's everything else
with his feet. Do you not think he's got a decent distribution?
But he'll also catch when he should punch, and vice versa, and put in and do ridiculous things like he did on Van Dijk. Just crazy thing. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Is Pope your man?
I don't know. I think there's a big problem. I think Pope is the best of a bad bunch, to be honest.
Here comes Burnley down the left. It's Wood with the crossfield ball all the way to the far side, and that is awful. Nobody anywhere near that ball, and it's a throw-in over on the far side, probably further back than where Wood crossed it from, and West Brom have been given the most free of possession. Throw to be taken by Townsend. Krovinovic makes himself available short. He goes beyond him. The header by Johan Berg Gudmundsson goes out of play. Slap bang on halfway. Dejan Gardner will leave it again for Connor Townsend. This is his 3rd consecutive start after injury trouble. Formerly of Scunthorpe United. And that is the sort of work that these two clubs have to do, isn't it? Plundering the Football League to make their signings. Or players that perhaps run out of opportunities with Premier League clubs, when you think of someone like Dale Stevens, who was available on the cheap for Burnley in the summer from Brighton. He's on the bench today. Benches, by the way, David Button is the goalkeeper for the Baggies. Kyle Bartley, Semi Ajayi, defensive options. Callum Robinson Matt Phillips, Romain Sawyers and Dara O'Shea. For Burnley, Will Norris the keeper, Robbie Brady, Dale Stevens, Jay Rodriguez, Matej Vidra, Jimmy Dunn and Anthony Driscoll Glennon. He's a young left back hoping to make a Premier League debut himself today. Ball is on the far side with Pereira. Little 1-2 with Krovinovic. Really going anywhere there though. And now it's Livermore. Krovinovic peeled away towards the left hand side. Dejan Gardner on towards Townsend. And tackle came in by Peters. Throw in to the Baggies. Taken to Krovinovic. Back to Livermore. Ivanovic. On the right hand side they find Furlong. And Burnley generally happy to let West Brom have the ball. They have their 11 men inside their own half, and that's where they then challenge the Baggies to play through them. Haven't managed it so far. Still scoreless here on Premier League Live with Toby Gillis and Dave Kitson, full commentary. And later on we do have Wolves and Leeds to come. Adam Inca will be with Kev Watson for commentary there as the ball into the Burnley box is clutched at by Pope. He clears out to Barnes. Barnes is headed to the right hand side for Berg Gudmundsson. And then Westwood and Brownhill combine. He gets a bit fortunate, Brownhill, as he runs it onto McNeil inside left. Outside of him is Taylor if he wants. He's going it alone is McNeil. Low ball into the box. Ivanovic on the edge of his 6-yard box. That's that experience we're talking about. That's that understanding and reading of the game. And West Brom are able to break.
I'll tell you what, he's probably been the best player on the pitch, hasn't he, so far? He really has, Ivanovic. He hasn't put a foot wrong.
This is nice again. Playing through the lines, West Brom. Moving it to the left-hand side. But Dejan Gardner's just slowed it down a little bit there. Then a trick. He's made it up towards the 18-yard box, level with it out on the left-hand side. Back down the line for Townsend. Krovinovic back up to him. But they're not really making progress. Every time they get towards that final third, they're being forced back by a crowd of yellow bodies. Townsend. Back to Egazi. Krovinovic moves into the Burnley half. Now this is where they can try and turn on the style. Ball in towards the box. Here goes Grant. Left foot shot. And he's put it wide. But a promising little opening there for West Brom. Couldn't quite find the angle though.
Yeah, it's not the clearest chance. So the ball just gets poked through to him. Everybody stops. He gets into a little gap. Tarkowski has to come over. But Pope is coming out trying to read that through ball, seeing if he can clear up the danger.
It was actually nicely timed by Pereira, wasn't it? But Grant was sort of he made Grant his run and then he looked behind him as if to go, when's the ball coming? And it had already come.
It's already there, yeah, exactly, yeah.
As Burnley go long this time to Wood, couldn't bring it down, giving it away to Livermore. I guess that's about relationships, is it? That's about knowing each other, which Grant just will not have had time to do yet.
Yeah, I think his starting position's wrong. I think if you're side on, you see that ball coming, and he wasn't. He was running towards the Burnley goal, which is something that you don't generally tell your strikers to do, because you can't see when the ball's coming. You've got to be side on as a striker, on the shoulder all the time, particularly if you've got pace.
Go home.
At TalkSport Live, if you want to get in touch, tell us your predictions. I always like to ask our listeners to send in photos of where they're listening from, because we've got some great listeners all around the world in some very exotic locations, and probably some less exotic. So do send a picture if you want to. At TalkSport Live is Hegazi makes an error. It just allows it really to roll under his boot for no apparent reason. It was a tame pass towards him, rolled straight under his studs, and this is a chance for Burnley to launch a throw into the box should they wish. Instead they go short. Back to Peters from Westwood. Now they work down the right hand side, but it's poor again. Brownhill and West Brom away. Long plays it down the right hand side, header on by Brownhill. Can Barnes emerge with it? No, but he has won his team a throw. Actually, Barnes is closing in on 100 goals in senior football in England. 98 at the moment. Now Burnley could do with him getting that little bit closer tonight.
Absolutely. If he gets 2 here, it'll be a miracle. Because this is a very, very championship game at the moment. A lot of endeavour.
You get goals in the championship as well. Here's Gudmundsson. There's a good cross. Guess who's on the end of it? Ivanovic. Good clearing header. Came out to Westwood. There's Taylor trying to deliver a ball into the box. Took a little deflection. Hegazi's clearance. Grant chests it down. Finds Pereira, but he runs into Taylor, who's done well to try and find Tarkowski. And the Baggies ball forward, a little bit aimless. Couldn't find Krovinovic. And the Clarets go long through to the goalkeeper, away to our left-hand side. The man in mint green this evening, Sam Johnston. And he might be one that's thinking about, more by way of international football. Sam Johnston, English goalkeeper. If it's as open as Dave suggests, who knows? Here goes Pereira down the middle, opening up for him to take a shot. Tame, didn't get the power on it, didn't really test Nick Pope as he dropped down onto it, down to his right hand side, and away they go. Brownhill, ball up towards Wood. Johnston came out of his area. His clearance only found Barnes, and he's tried to launch it on the half volley from 35 yards out, but he didn't get the height to get it over Johnston, and it was an easy claim for the keeper. So 2 saves, one either end in the last 20 seconds or so. Yeah,
it's a good position from Johnston actually, because he's just watched his team attack, but he's not switched off. He's still concentrating. He's in a good position to sweep that up. He gets the header, and I think Ashley Barnes does the right thing. You can see what he's trying to do, lob the ball back over Johnson, who's obviously come and swept up that header. It's definitely the right play, just doesn't get enough on it.
As West Brom play down the left-hand side, they're going to have another free kick in a decent position here. It's Dejan Gardner who's been fouled by Peters. And, surely set pieces are a huge opportunity today for both of these sides. No win in their last 4 home games in the league for West Brom. That includes last season in the Championship. 3 of those have been draws, though. They actually ended up in their promotion season winning more points away from home than they did at the Hawthorns. Don't think you can rely on that in the Premier League generally. Here comes Pereira with this free kick. Ivanovic, one of those getting forward. He's been magnetised to his head in defensive areas, not in an attacking one, as Pope comes and claims this deep free kick. All in blue. High throw out to the left-hand side, and Taylor, he's challenged by Krovinovic. Ponytailed Croat, and on the near side Burnley have a throw. It's one of those games, probably based on what we've seen so far, that in terms of creating an atmosphere we really could do with some fans, or maybe it would be just as quiet even if they were here.
I'm waiting for these pictures to come in from around the world.
We're getting them. We've just had a lovely one come in from Carol at work now, but here's a photo from sunrise at my local beach. Thanks for making my grading a bit of an easier task. I'm not quite sure where Carol's based, but I'll tell you what, there is a serious sunrise. I'll show you it at half time. At Talk Sport Live if you want to join Carol with your photos. It's the only thing cheering us up so far. 25 gone, still scoreless, but Burnley do have a free kick in a promising position. Can they deliver some quality where West Brom have failed so far? Ashley Barnes is having some sort of joke with Branislav Ivanovic, who might be smiling on the inside, but I'm not sure he's capable of it on the outside.
Absolutely not.
Big old bruising Serb. Here's McNeil with the delivery, bending deep and away towards the back post. That was a push in the box. That's surely a penalty. It's come out to the far side. There's the header on goal. Might drop into the box for Barnes. It does, and it's pushed away by Johnston. Now surely the VAR.
VAR's going to have a look at this.
Have a look at that. That was a clear push.
Surely, because it's coming right onto his head from the free kick, and he just gets bundled. Into the back. The ball gets recycled, comes back in. Wood gets a header. Ashley Barnes takes a shot. Yeah, Johnson makes a fantastic save, because it actually is Tarkowski who flicks it onto Barnes, who chests it down, gets a half volley away from point blank range, and Johnson does really well to tip it wide.
Well, I don't know what Darren England's doing, the VAR today, but he's not told Anthony Taylor to even have a look at it himself. They've just had a corner. They've completely wasted it. West Brom come away, and I still think Burnley should have had a penalty.
Yeah, I want to see that back. We only saw it live as it happened.
It was clear
the replay, but it certainly seemed to be a push in the back.
Extraordinary that hasn't been looked at. Hegazi clears for West Brom up towards halfway. Foul on Krovinovic by Peters. Good solid professional, hasn't he been in the Premier League for years now? Dutchman. West Brom pass back from the free kick. Krovinovic has it again left side in his own half. Now Hegazi, the Egyptian. Can Gallagher unlock a defence? Ball forward towards Pereira. Poor first touch, but he's very fortunate that he gets another chance because Charlie Taylor's given it straight back to him. Now the Brazilian looking for the run down the left-hand side. Nicely done. They've cut it back to the right-back Furlong, whose touches are awful. Couldn't bring it down, couldn't bring it under control. Goal kick. That was such a good opening for West Brom, and in the final third they made nothing of it.
No, it really was, because the ball from Pereira is a good one. He just puts it over Peters' head. Peters gets caught under the ball. He can't get back, and that ball really needs... The ball that gets cut back across the face of goal needs to come in on the half volley on the floor. And he shanked it, and it's gone. It's hit into the floor, bounced up, and no one can do anything with it. It's a great opportunity that's been wasted.
I think perhaps I was a bit harsh on Furlong. It was an awkward ball bouncing high up towards his head. Burnley had a throw on the right hand side, and there's a foul on Westwood from behind. He wanted to take it quickly. It's not going to happen. And a good old moan. Quite sure what about. Maybe there's... I think Westwood might be pointing to the box and saying, why didn't you give us a chance at having a look at a penalty?
Yeah, I think he is. As the captain, he's got a right to do that, to talk to the referee. He's asking that question. I need to see it again. We still haven't seen a replay, but
no, the director doesn't even know. Are we the only people watching this game properly? Extraordinary. 29 on the clock. Here's the free kick. Chance to deliver into the box again. Lots of tall bodies in there. It's towards Tarkowski. Hegazi away, only as far as Taylor. Carefully planted ball towards the back post. Is cleared by West Brom. Then a hook over the head has Dean Gardner chasing away. Can he get away from Brownhill? That's a great tackle on the right hand side. Burnley go long again, and that'll be straight into the arms of Sam Johnston. Overhit ball.
Goodness me, honestly, the quality is so poor. It really is. It's just a bunch of panic merchants out there at the moment, just getting the ball away from themselves to somebody, giving the problem to somebody else.
I'm not joking you. Colin Montgomery has just tweeted a photo of himself listening to us. I cannot quite believe I'm saying that. The legendary golfer.
Where is he?
In North Carolina, driving on my way to the next tournament in Florida. And it's somebody, he has not taken a photo of himself. I'd like to say he's not using his phone whilst driving. Someone has taken it of him. But you are very, very welcome along, Colin Montgomery. Golfing royalty.
No, Colin,
tell us who you want to win.
Please swap with me.
And Kube is listening in Nebraska, USA. Some rather nice, I think they might be cornfields. Thank you for giving me something to make this view more palatable. Well, I'll tell you what, anything's better than the view of this game so far. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Half hour gone, and it remains 0-0. And we've got all sorts coming in now. I'm telling you, Dave, we've started a trend.
Well, I tell you, we could really do with a little bit of Colin Montgomery magic.
Sporting quality.
Yeah, we really could, because this is sorely lacking.
Here's Ivanovic, one of the more classy operators on the field so far. Down the right-hand side, Grant being asked an awful lot to chase that one down from a central position, and Nick Pope comes rushing out of his 18-yard box to clear into touch. Furlong will take this throw. I'm very much a commentator that likes to call a spade, and I'm not going to sit here and suggest it's... I once spoke to another commentator about a bad game, and he said, I always like to use the phrase simmering under the boil. Cross into the Burnley box is headed from wide out on the right hand side, out on the far side, the left I should say, by the West Brom attacker. I think it was Townsend that got onto the end of that one, but it was again straight at Nick Pope, looping header, very, very easy one to claim. And they've taken it out to the right hand side. There's Westwood, the captain.
Yeah, I just think there's a clear lack of quality, isn't there? And what unnerves me is, look, West Brom have come up. We know that the finances are going to be a bit strained. Okay, they're probably preparing for the Championship the moment they got promoted to the Premier League. But Burnley, no signings, nothing to get excited about as a Burnley fan, and that really makes me nervous. Not only from the point of view that there's nothing tangible to engage with, there's nothing new coming in, but I really do think I really stand by some of my old managers, which is you have to freshen things up.
But you say that about West Brom. I mean, I completely agree about Burnley, but West Brom spent £42 million in this transfer window. 18 million on Gardner. Grant was very nearly 15 million. Mateus Pereira 8.25 million.
Yeah.
They've spent a lot of money. They've got Chinese investment behind them. The Yunyi Guokai group. They've been in charge since 2016. They know about the Premier League. They realise that you can't really make that leap without investing. And they've done it, to be fair.
No, they
as a knockdown comes out to Gudmundsson, little push, I think that was by
surely a foul.
Wood.
Yeah. Look, they've spent a
foul. They should have had a penalty.
They've spent give us anything. Look, they've spent a lot of money for West Brom. That's the point to make. £42 million in football is not a lot of money relative to the theatre that we're in.
We're just seeing a replay of that incident now, by the way. 3 players around Long. I have to say, I'm beginning to wonder. It was just sort of lent into by Furlong, wasn't it? It wasn't quite the push that I thought it was.
No, it wasn't. But I'm surprised that there was no second look from VAR. That's the surprising thing for me. It was definitely worthy of a look.
Had there been one, what do you think the outcome would have been?
No, actually, I have to say I don't think it.
Yeah, so we've been moaning about it for 5 minutes. It's all nonsense. You're the one supposed to be providing the sense, Dave.
I'm just trying to get excited about this game. Anything, just give me something.
Look, we're getting to watch and talk about Premier League football. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. Referee Anthony Taylor's getting involved, blowing his whistle. Free kick to the Baggies towards the right back position. Slaven Bilic is giving some advice to Mateus Pereira, who seems to be looking at him with a face full of scorn, I have to say. Long ball forward towards Grant. He got the flick on there, but Gardner, unfortunately for his point of view, had run in from the left. When had he stayed out there, he might have been on the end of that, but the clearance is blocked away and it's going to drop to Pereira, cutting in from his right hand side onto his left foot. His shot is blocked by Westwood, takes a deflection, behind it goes, corner to West Brom.
Yeah, and Tarkowski's going mad at Pope. Why are you throwing that ball out there? West Brom have committed players forward, so they've got already half a dozen players around the box. Pope takes the ball out of the air and, for reasons known only to himself, decides to throw it out to his left back, who's not ready for it, and immediately he's under pressure. Pereira gets a shot off deflected in the corner. He's put his team under unnecessary pressure here.
Yeah, and this corner will be taken over on the far side by Pereira. It'll be an out-swinging delivery from the Brazilian. Not the best. Ivanovic does get on the end of it, and he's furious with himself because he didn't get the firm contact that he'd hoped, and it was an easy clearance for Burnley. That was a chance.
Oh, if he gets a better connection, it's 1-0. It's a terrible corner. It comes in along the ground, gets missed at the near post. It finds its way through to Ivanovic on his left foot, just bounces up really nicely, just to turn towards goal, which he does, but there's not enough on it. There's not enough power, and it gets blocked.
I've got some bad news for you, Dave. Colin isn't specifically tuning in to listen to us. Maybe not a surprise. He says he's waiting for the Leeds game. He is enjoying the commentary, though, which is very kind and a definite lie. Let's hope there's a goal soon. And he said, not tweeting at the wheel. Good. We like to hear you're staying safe. Here's Ashley Westwood volleying it towards the near side, and then Charlie Taylor chasing onto it, former Leeds man. That's a decent ball, that. Left by Barnes, comes back out to the left-hand side from Wood dealt with in the right back position, and here comes Gallagher. Bit of space, maybe a chance for Dejan Gardner to chase from the pass out the left hand side. Now gets on his bike, he's got Krovinovic outside of him, instead into Brunt, and there is the opening goal, and the offside flag is up.
Yeah, he did look offside, he really did. I was watching him all the way, and the flag went up straight away, and he did look 2 yards offside. It's a great ball in.
We're going to see it again on the replay.
Yeah, he is.
It's not 2 yards, it's sort of half a body, isn't it? But he is offside.
Enough. He's definitely offside.
And he didn't need to be. That's the frustrating thing.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right.
It was a wonderful cross.
Yeah, he picks him out beautifully. And I think we're getting a replay of a tackle from Charlie Taylor, actually, as he tries to put a stop to that attack on down where he is on that left-hand side, West Brom's right-hand side. I'm not sure if he got a booking. He should have.
Yeah, it was late.
I think he did. Yeah,
he has been shown a yellow card belatedly for that challenge on Darnell Furlong. And absolutely right decision.
Yeah, and you're right about that. He didn't need to be offside.
Checking the disallowed goal by VAR, but we've already seen clearly
he's definitely offside. He's definitely offside.
Well, they're sticking the lines out. Well, let's just see. What's bizarre about this is the angle we've got, you actually can't see Tarkowski's foot. So how are we possibly going to know? They're basing it on Tarkowski's head and the right foot of Carlin Grant. Well, perhaps it's slightly closer than we thought, but it is offside.
It is definitely offside. He's definitely offside.
7 to go till the break. We do need a bit of a break.
We need a plan B.
Nah, it's nothing better than commentating. Burnley, nice feet by Dwight McNeil, takes out 2 players and bursts forward at pace. What's the cross like? Towards the back post, delicious delivery.
Oh, it's not bad.
Nobody threw himself at the back post.
No, he just needs somebody to gamble. He really does, and that's the problem when you've got a winger like McNeil who can just jink in and out and then whip a ball across right in between the goalkeeper and the centre half. Oh, it's begging to be put in. It really is, and there's nobody there.
Lee Hart has been in touch. Cranes on a train in wide open Saskatchewan, which is not something I expected to see a photo of today, but it quite literally is as described. If you want to see some sights that you wouldn't normally see in your daily life, follow @TalkSport Live on Twitter, especially when I'm commentating, because I like to ask our listeners for these sorts of photos, and we're getting them in their droves now. Ball forward by McNeil, takes a ricochet off of Gallagher into touch near side, throw in, slap bang on halfway Charlie Taylor, launching that one towards Wood, couldn't bring it down as it dropped over his shoulder, smashed away by West Brom. Header again by Tarkowski. Livermore might just drop it back to Wood, formerly of West Brom, the Kiwi. And then Dwight McNeil makes the block from the West Brom clearance by Furlong, takes a deflection off of the former Manchester United man who's spoken freely and publicly about his desire at Burnley, is all about proving Manchester United wrong, where he was released as a youngster for being too small, which is bizarre because he's quite a tall figure now, isn't he? He must have been a late grower. Still only 20 years old. Must be a difficult situation at Burnley, because in order to strengthen, Sean Dyche has spoken so much about we've got to sell, but he's their most saleable asset, and equally he's the one that probably they can least afford to lose. Very difficult situation for them with him, I'd have thought.
It's a very simple equation.
Signed a new contract though, didn't he? So
it's a very simple equation. You get £160 million for staying in the Premier League. So selling a player for £20-30 million and compromising your chance of staying in the Premier League doesn't work as an equation.
No. Sam Johnston has claimed a long ball into his box. Bowls out to Furlong on the right hand side. Now Ivanovic. Oh, he might have just shown a bit too much of that to Wood, and I think he's won his team a throw. Wood, he has, in an attacking position on the left hand side, taken quickly by McNeil. It's a bit of support from Brownhill. Now it comes back down the line to Tarkowski, and then they've worked it all the way back through long to the goalkeeper Pope. 0-0 I don't believe is good enough for either of these two sides.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And whoever does score the goal, and we hope that there is one, whoever gets it, it's going to be massive.
Kravinovic has found Dejan Gardner down the left-hand side. That's a great tackle by Long over on the far side. Stretched out a telescopic leg. Passes it to Westwood. A little bit of space to play down the right-hand side now. Spun beyond Gudmundsson. Wood can't get on the end of it. And away come West Brom. Now they've worked it right. Furlong's got plenty of energy. That's a decent ball to Gallagher, right side of the box, but just a bit out-muscled there by Tarkowski. England defender. Clearance by Taylor. Boomed long. Controlled neatly by Wood this time. Trapped well. Comes back to Westwood. That's a bit of space for Barnes inside left. It's got the runner in McNeil. McNeil tries to cross. Brilliantly blocked by Livermore. One of those dangerous ones in the modern day with the new handball rules. As you go to ground and block a ball, you can never be quite sure that it's not going to hit you in a place that can give away a penalty. But that one perfectly safe by Livermore. Dejan Gardner has it, gives it to Kravinovic, left of centre, 7-8 yards inside the Burnley half. To his left for Townsend, back to Kravinovic. He's literally got time to put his arms out, stop and go, what options have I got?
It's embarrassing, honestly. For Burnley, you know, I haven't seen Burnley cause the back four, really, certainly not the centre-half pairing of West Brom, any trouble whatsoever. Pereira
looks for the ball over the top of the Burnley defence, easily headed away that by Peters. He's never going to find Dejan Gardner. You just think, surely get a chance to get Dejan Gardner running at Peters.
Yeah.
And that seems like an opportunity there, but he's
just not
once had the chance, and when he has had the ball, he's not done it.
No, they've nullified it quite well, actually, because they're right on him when he gets the ball, and they're doubling up as well.
Clearance by Pope finds Wood. Wasn't the best control, but he's kept possession for his team. Came back to a midfielder whose long ball launched straight into the goalkeeper Johnston. Out to the right, here's Furlong, already over the halfway line. Just checks, turns, gives it back to Livermore. Now into the centre circle for Filip Kravinovic. To the left for Townsend. Now this is the chance for Dejan Gardner to run level with the edge of the 18-yard box at Peters if he wishes, but he's just stopped and he's slowed the play down repeatedly when he's had the ball. Comes back down the line to Townsend. Kravinovic. A little bit more adventure from West Brom, you'd say, in the 44 minutes so far than there's been from Burnley, but decent press from the Clarets as they force them back to halfway.
Yeah, I think with Burnley, if it's not coming from McNeil, it's not coming at all. And there's nothing in behind. There's no threat. You've got a 36-year-old centre-half in Ivanovic, and there's no threat in behind. Nobody's run him, nobody's taken him on.
There's Gallagher. Space out on the left-hand side from the diagonal into the box for Dejan Gardner. Takes on Peters. Peters gets a toe in. Stabbed behind. We've got 20 seconds at the end of this first 45 minutes. Please, God, let there be no stoppage time. And this corner might be the last kick, unless it goes in. If it goes in,
happy days. Yeah.
Ivanovic forward, Livermore forward, Furlong forward, plenty of height in the box. Hegazi's there too around the penalty spot. Carlin Grant waiting in front of the goalkeeper. 2 minutes of stoppage time for us to enjoy, whichever word. We couldn't decide which one to go with there. Corner will be taken by Pereira, short to Dejan Gardner. Cross hits the first man and goes behind for another corner. We won't try that one again, I wouldn't have thought. No doubt they've worked on set pieces though. They're trying different things with them, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and they almost caught Burnley out very early on in the first 5 minutes with a set piece, actually.
Here comes the delivery this time. Not the best of balls, but they've made something of it. It's hooked away by Barnes inside his own 6-yard box. There's a decent flick on at the near post, actually. I didn't think they were going to get that because it looked like a terrible corner, but Barnes had to deal with it. Throw in on the near side. Gallagher's going to leave it for Furlong. Where's Rory Delap when you need him? Those long launches into the box.
As a striker, loved playing with Rory. Really, really did.
Famed for the most extraordinary long throws.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Throw down better than a corner. But is it true that Tony Pulis used to say try and get throws rather than corners? Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And we played against Manchester United, and Sir Alex said after the game they specifically told Ferdinand and Vidic not to put the ball out for throw-ons.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Here's Furlong. Out level with the 6-yard box, takes it out of his feet, and the cross coming in. I think it might have actually been creeping into the net there, but I think there's taken a little deflection, gone behind. Another corner. 5th of the game already for West Brom. Haven't really made the most of them, but you certainly wouldn't say they've got no chance from them. They're trying different things. This is just the second one from this near side. It was where they created that havoc from the first one in the 3rd minute, from which Krovinovic hit a shot through the bodies. This time, goodness me, they tried the same towards Gallagher. It didn't get anywhere near him. They've smashed it away. The half-time whistle's gone. It's 0-0. It's awful. It's Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Raven, that's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on Talk Sport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talk Sportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
Talk Sport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, Talk Sportus can defeat it.
Talk Sportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of Talk Sport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, Titanium Plasmatronic Death Droids from the Future, 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me, I will please.
And extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of Talk Sport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
I'd like to give my producer a round of applause because somehow he's created some highlights out of that first 45 minutes. Here's Here's McNeil with the delivery, bending deep and away towards the back post. That was a push in the box. That's surely a penalty. It's come out to the far side. There's the header on goal. Might drop into the box for Barnes. It does, and it's pushed away by Johnston. Now surely the VAR.
The VAR's going to have a look at this.
We'll have
surely.
a look at that. That was a clear push.
Surely.
Well, I don't know what Darren England's doing, the VAR today, but he's not told Anthony Taylor to even have a look at it himself. They've just had a corner. They've completely wasted it. West Brom come away, and I still think Burnley should have had a penalty. Maybe a chance for Dejan Gardner to chase from the pass out the left-hand side now. Gets on his bike. He's got Krovinovic outside of him. Instead into Grant, and there is the opening goal, and the offside flag is up.
Yeah, he did look offside. He really did. I was watching him all the way.
So it is 0-0 at half-time. Toby Gillis and Dave Kitson watching this one. Look, I don't feel like this is definitely going to be a 0-0 by any means. There are plenty of mistakes in it, and there are players on the field, Dave, aren't there, that can provide some serious quality. There is. The trouble is there are also players in the stadium, and unfortunately they're on the bench, because when I look at McNeil, who is clearly Burnley's best outlet and best opportunity for creating a goal, he's put, what do you reckon, about 3 crosses across the face of goal now? Absolutely. And Chris Wood, aptly named, he's like a tree. He's rooted to the spot. They really, it's so easy for Ivanovic to mark him. It really is. He just drops off, lets him take the ball down, and then he engages. They need somebody like a Vidra, a Rodriguez, somebody who's going to go into that 6-yard box and die trying to score a goal. That's what they need, and they can win this game if they do that, because they're not really getting any pressure at the other end. I did wonder about Vidra. I looked at the benches and I thought, surely against Branislav Ivanovic, Vidra is lightning. Yeah, exactly. And he has had starts in the Premier League this season. It's not like he never gets an opportunity, and he's got goals in him. Yeah, he'd relish playing against the West Brom side that actually, you know, there's a lot of feeling amongst those that watched him when he was in the Championship at the start of his career in England. He then went out on loan to West Brom in the Premier League, and there's a lot of feeling that sort of stifled his career somewhat. I just wonder whether he'd really relish an opportunity to play against a 36-year-old against a team that he's probably got something to prove against. Well, he must be looking at this thinking, just give me a... He must. If I was a Vidra or a Rodriguez, I would have been warming up for that entire 45 minutes, waving in front of Daesh, saying, "Come on, enough's enough." It is tricky, because how do you know, if for a manager, if you put on... if you take a player off, it's almost like an admission that you got it wrong at the start. But if Burnley want to win this game, they've got to change it, and the best managers make a change. Yeah. 45 minutes still to come. I promise you it'll get better. And if not, Dave and I will continue making silly jokes. In the meantime, you can also look forward to what will be, without a doubt, a game of quality later on. Leeds against Wolves. It's been such a welcome arrival, Leeds, hasn't it, in the Premier League? And Wolves, I think it's fair to say, will be very disappointed with the way things are going for them so far. Adam Inca and Kev Watson will be along to describe the action in that one. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff UK time, so that's just a shade over an hour and a half now. But we can hear from the two managers. Nuno Espirito Santo coming up in a moment, but first, Marcelo Bielsa.
Phillips es un jugador.
I think that Phillips is a versatile player, and he can play in different styles. In the national team, he plays in the centre, and in our team, he plays in the same position. And the things that he picks up whilst playing for England will surely make him better.
I think the schedule was not well prepared in terms of national teams. First of all, due to the pandemic, due to the risk that the mobility of persons in this world is now so dangerous, and specifically because the load that the players are being subject in these moments, in the early moments of the season, it's absurd. It's absurd. And if you add pandemic plus excessive load and players playing 3-4 games in a space of 10 days with so much short period of preparation, it's absurd, and it's creating problems.
Más allá de que more than them having some new players which they are incorporating into their team, they're a team that is consolidated in the league with a system that is ingrained within their players with a powerful competitiveness.
Leeds is a special approach of the game. We've been looking at it. I like it, but at the same time, my focus is how can I adapt and take advantage of it. But I expect a very, very tough challenge on Monday against Leeds.
I don't think there's any argument that it will be a tough challenge against Leeds. And well, the difference between the two sides at the moment is simply a point, but there's just this feel-good factor around Leeds, isn't there? They've pushed absolutely everyone they've played, not been beaten since that opening day of the season thriller against the champions Liverpool. No guarantees whatsoever that Wolves, perhaps you would think that they would be the favourites for that game, but no guarantees whatsoever when you play Leeds. How impressed are you, Dave, with what Marcelo Bielsa has done, bringing that brand of football up from the Championship?
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. It really is. And the thing with Bielsa is, you hear a lot of around what he's tried to do. You hear a lot of sort of fluff from other people. Oh, when a big team comes in, he'll go. Yeah. It's not true. It's not true. Bielsa isn't that type of person. He's
found a club.
Yeah, he's not looking for a Barcelona or a Real Madrid. Bielsa he's a remarkable man. His backstory is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And he's found a club in which he can put his stamp on. Look, he'll go back to Argentina. He'll be a legend there. Yeah. There's statues of him already.
He likes that project.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Look, we've got that much to come, but in the meantime, second half of our one on its way. Things can only get better. It's West Brom against Burnley. It's 0-0. This is Premier League Live.
Talk Sport. Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated Talk Sport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at talksport.com now. The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein, and of course you can hear me on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy. We'll be taking all your calls, text, tweets and emails on all the big talking points from the weekend's football. And remember, we bring you the very first look at the next day's back page headlines every single night.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to talksport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new Talk Sport swimming pool. Goff! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Driving home with Darren Goff and Doug, a sporting legend and angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, who hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4 only on Talk Sport.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs on Sport. Talk Sport. It's the double-O duo of the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksby and Andy Oddjob Jacobs, flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got Pussy Galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksby and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on TalkSport.
TalkSport.
Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com. Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder. TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of West Brom against Burnley from the Hawthorns. I'm your match commentator Toby Gillis, alongside me Dave Kitson, former Premier League striker. You are listening to Premier League Live. Doesn't look like there are any changes at half-time. Scoreless between the Baggies and the Clarets. Second half will surely provide more goalmouth action. So let's quickly run you through the sides, with Burnley about to get us underway, shooting from left to right in their yellow jerseys, maroon shorts, yellow socks. The Baggies in their traditional dark blue and white striped shirts, look like barcodes really. White jerseys, dark blue socks. They have Johnston in goal, back four Furlong, Ivanovic, Agazi and Townsend. Then it's Livermore and Krovinovic, the midfield pairing, with Pereira right, Diangana left, Gallagher in the middle and Carlin Grant up front. He had a goal disallowed in the first half for offside. Pope's the goalkeeper for Burnley, who have now got us underway. And it does look a bit more like a back three for Burnley at the start of this second half, with Peters, Long and Tarkowski. So I just wonder whether that means that there'll be a little bit of a change, or was it just the way that they started? I think it might have been that, with Taylor on the left-hand side of the defence, then Gudmundsson, Brownhill, Westwood and McNeil in midfield, Barnes and Wood up front. And Burnley continue to attack with Taylor down by the corner flag. He's half volleyed the ball in, clearance by Ivanovic, a little bit fortuitous that it finds Krovinovic. And West Brom making a bit of a meal of getting it away, but I think they'll do so now. They will by Furlong, headed back in his direction, nodded down by Barnes, and will work its way left to the rangy figure of McNeil. There's the cross towards Woods, just couldn't get up above Townsend and get a firm contact on that header. It drops kindly into the gloves of Sam Johnston. Dave Kitson.
Yeah, it's another great delivery from McNeil. And Wood, really, I have to say, he's so much taller.
Didn't really attack it,
He didn't attack it. He sort of let it sort of drift onto his head. And he didn't. I don't think he made the most of that. I think you get players, if you're that type of player, which Wood is, you're going onto the back post. You really, that's where you do your best work.
Yeah, he sort of waited for it to come to him rather than attacking the ball himself. This is Burnley's worst ever start to a Premier League season. They've not lost more than 3 at the start of a top-flight campaign since back in 1927, when they actually lost 5 in a row at the start of that year, and even still stayed up, to be fair.
I remember it.
Wow, we're on to reusing jokes. Sure you did that one at the start of the first half.
I did
well.
that exactly. Well, it's been that kind of game. I think the irony of playing faithless insomnia at half time was not lost on me.
That first half, definitely a cure. Long clearance away by West Brom. Tarkowski brings it down. Firm one back from the halfway line to the goalkeeper, Nick Pope. Would he be your choice for England then, Pope? At the moment, it almost has to be, doesn't it, really?
It's the best of a bad. I said it, we started to we started to have this conversation in the first half.
We did, yes.
I think there's a real problem
Henderson,
for England.
or do you have to be playing?
Well, you don't have to be.
It'd be a massive call, wouldn't it?
It would be huge. No one's ever really done it before. But however you slice it, England are facing a bit of a crisis in that respect. In left wing they certainly are, and in goal I really believe they are as well.
Throwing down the line finds Barnes. Now it's worked to McNeil. There's the cross. He's overhit that one just when there might have been a couple of bodies available. Gudmundsson looks frustrated with that, and so, to be fair, does McNeil.
He knows it. He knows it, doesn't he?
Big chance that was 2 against 1 in the middle.
Yeah, because he's got such good quality with that left foot, and he's got 2 players ahead of him to aim for, and it's almost like he just gets a little bit overexcited and just puts too much on it. It goes out for a goal kick.
Brownhill leapt high over Pereira there, and he's come off the worst. He's fallen from quite a height. He's okay, actually. He's back on his knees, picking himself up. Pereira just holding his back a little bit, but I think they'll both be okay. He just jumped right over the top of him, did Brownhill. Nobody can tell me that Burnley have had no money to spend. It's sort of peanuts in Premier League terms, but 9 million they spent on Brownhill back in January of this year. So they have had a few quid every now and then.
Yeah, I think the issue really is that there's no evolution.
Just to give you an idea of how excited the listeners are by this game, people are now tweeting Colin Montgomery, who so far is our most famous listener. If you're more famous than Colin Montgomery, at TalkSport Live, people are now tweeting him to tell him that the gas prices where he is are the cheapest, and also that the police are very active on the motorway that he's on, so do stay in the speed limit. This is the level that we're at.
So you don't, when we're on, you don't just get a game of football.
No, that is true. You get. I was about to say comedy genius, but I wouldn't ever declare myself
let's
to be
not
a comedy genius.
No, let's not go mad.
Someone else can make that judgment. Although somebody has said that you've come up with the line of the year about Chris Wood. Chris Wood, aptly named because he's like a tree. George Templeton says he's had me belly laughing in the car. There's a long cross from the right-hand side. No, I can't call that a cross, because a cross would stay in field. It's actually gone behind for a goal kick from out on the right from Darnell Furlong. Right now, this looks like 2 championship sides, doesn't it? If we're being completely honest, and they're going to be hard put to stay in the Premier League based on this game alone.
Yeah. The thing with Burnley is that something happens to them at some point in the season where they suddenly put together 4, 5, 6 games where they don't get beat, and they win the majority, and it happens every year.
Well, I'll give you an idea to give you a look at last season. Okay, they played their 38 games. They lost 14 in total, but they only lost 2 of their last 16 matches. So effectively, they survived in the second half of the season alone. Effectively,
and they do
12
every
of
year.
their first 18 they lost.
That's right, and that's really impressive. And I also think, because somebody said to me, because I used to play for Sheffield United, somebody said to me, what's going wrong with Sheffield United? And I said, look, the thing is that you can at any point in the season you can lose 4 games in a row.
Yes.
But if it happens in January or November or March, or no one notices really, because you've already got it just so happens that they've done it at the beginning of the season. And I don't expect that to continue. And it's the same with Burnley, really. I don't expect this to continue. I think that they will pick up points, but I'll caveat it by saying,
at some point, if you don't invest, it's going to come and bite you in the backside, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely will.
At the moment, in previous seasons, they've been more than the sum of their parts. And they haven't added quality to that.
No, you definitely need. I don't care what team you are, what level you're playing, you need to add a couple of players.
Nice nick high up the field by Krovinovic. He's found Pereira. He's drilled it low into the box. I think a bit of height might have helped him out. Burnley will get away quite easily, quite clearly. Westwood out to the right hand side, finds Barnes, needs some support. He's got it here in the shape of McNeil. Tripped, dangerous position that to make that foul by Livermore. The West Brom captain will be booked for that one as well. Second player to go into the referee's notebook, and he can have absolutely no complaints.
No, he breaks up the play because there was an overload on the left hand side for Burnley. And he's talking to Barnes about it. He seems a bit disgruntled, but I think he knows. And this is
Shooting territory.
It is shooting territory.
Long range shooting territory, but still.
Yeah, it is. It's not something that you would think would favour somebody who's going to curl the ball.
No, it's one of those you want to dip in front of the keeper and get an awkward bounce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gudmundsson, McNeil, Brownhill, all over it. At the moment, Brownhill and Gudmundsson look favourites. In fact, even more so now. McNeil's walked away. There's a 4-man West Brom wall. Tell you what, there's some big old boys in that. Livermore, Ivanovic, Hegazi, Gallagher, all in there. Doing well to get it over them, even from this distance. But to give you an idea of how far out it is, the wall is not inside the 18-yard box. It's midpoint of the D. And the shot's going to come in from Gudmundsson, and it pass back. Got it round the wall. That was an easy claim. Very easy claim for Sam Johnston. But it's a shot on target. We're getting there. Nice skills down on the right-hand side there by Furlong to get away from McNeil. Then given one for the striker, the new striker, Carlin Grant, to chase. Dealt with by Long. Throw into the Baggies' far side. 9.5 played, near enough in the second half. Still 0-0. Are we heading for the first 0-0 of the Premier League season? I'm still saying no.
Well,
that's because I want to keep our listeners.
Yeah, look, I hope no, obviously, but
Furlong's cross headed away by Long.
There's nothing about this game that convinces me someone's going to score.
Right, you're trying to lose us, listeners.
Well, no, I'm being, you pay me to be honest.
Not that honest. Not go home, you're going to miss nothing honest.
No, listen, if there is a goal, it's probably going to be one of the biggest goals in the Premier League. Forget all of the 7-2s and the 5-1s.
That's the tantalising punditry we're after.
If there's a goal in this game, it's massive. Yes. It's bigger than probably any of the other goals.
If there's two, it'll be 1-1 and it'll cancel each other out. Grant's header on is headed away by Taylor, drops into the midfield. A couple of opportunities for Krovinovic, hooked over the shoulder by Brownhill. Hegazi was there to nod it back to Johnston. That's a good, almost Schmeichel-esque throw out to the halfway line there, and they're working themselves down the left-hand side. Krovinovic is shut out though by Peters, takes the throw, drops it into Pereira. Krovinovic, Pereira. He's looked a good player, Pereira, in the times I've seen him, but there's a lack of spark at the moment about the ones that we know can provide greatness. I mean, think of the Dean Gardner goal against Everton. It was wonderful. Think of the performance at the start of the game against Chelsea. They were superb. And for some reason, it just hasn't clicked today.
Well, it's
almost a bit lifeless, a bit energyless.
No, what it is when West Brom play quickly, they cause Burnley problems.
But why aren't they they can just do that, can't they? Why can't they switch that on?
I don't think it is something that you can switch on. I think it's
Townsend. This might be a chance. Bit of an overload here. Grant's laid it off to Pereira. Edge of the area. Pereira. He's had the opening to Gallagher. That was cleared away by Taylor though. Drops to Krovinovic. Now here's Townsend. Thought about the cross. Instead goes left for Dean Gardner. Couple of step overs. Comes back to Krovinovic. Dean Gardner, 1-2. Doesn't get the ball back to him. Now they might open it up. Krovinovic stopped. It went through the legs of the defender, and had Krovinovic continued his run, he'd have got there. But instead, he allowed Westwood to get in, and it's safety first, behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's good play. Good play on the edge of the box.
He just didn't. There was no conviction in Krovinovic's running that Dean Gardner was going to find him again.
Yeah, he didn't think it was going to get through, did he? And probably he's right, because it actually ends up being a nutmeg that comes through to him.
But isn't that about the anticipation that the top players have?
Yeah, exactly.
Expectation that the unexpected might happen. Another short corner taken by Pereira to Dean Gardner. Now Krovinovic back to Pereira. Slips in Dean Gardner down by the byline. Nice trick. Dean Gardner drilled in, surely, absolutely smashed towards goal by Ivanovic. How has it stayed out? Back in it goes, half cleared by Pope. Ivanovic goes in, extraordinary melee in the box, and somehow it's gone behind and not into the back of the net. How has that stayed out?
Goodness, honestly, West Brom there in that one phase of play have had enough opportunities to win 3 games. That is extraordinary. Dean Gardner down this left-hand side, beautiful play. He gets across in, it's a great hand actually from Pope to keep it out.
Came to Ivanovic, smashed against Tarkowski.
So Ivanovic can't believe it. He cannot believe, because it's clear cut on his left foot, and we're just getting a replay of Ivanovic. He's looking up at the heavens. He cannot believe he hasn't scored. It's an incredible block, and even then the danger's not over. It comes back in, gets recycled, and there's another shot which Pope, in fairness, makes a bit of a mess of.
Yeah, but then he follows up again and saves it once more.
It's unbelievable.
He made up for his error.
He did, because he should have just snuffed that out.
Wow. And somehow ended up with a goal kick, which has been taken, by the way, and it's come out of play on the near side for a West Brom throw. Well, look, we've had more drama in 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, exactly.
Than the previous 58 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, yeah. We just got a shot of Sean Dyche on the bench rubbing his head, wondering what is going on.
I hope he doesn't get burned from that sandpaper hair that he's got. Gallagher in the centre circle, and that's going to liven this up. That's got to liven these players up.
Well, you'd hope it would do something to Burnley, because they've offered nothing. They haven't laid a glove on West Brom.
Livermore, high ball out to the left-hand side. Found Townsend, gives it into Krovinovic. Dean Gardner tries a trick to get away from Peters. That's going to be a free kick. He's accidentally tripped Peters, picks him back up to Dean Gardner. But we saw there in that move, in the build-up with Pereira and Dean Gardner, they had great weight of pass, great skill by Dean Gardner to leave Gudmundsson on his backside. He got good power on the shot, forced the tip away by the keeper. There was so much within that move that you're questioning the whole time why we haven't seen that throughout.
Yeah, it is great sustained pressure from West Brom. Dean Gardner, he looks as if he's going to cut it across the box on his left foot, and he drags it, rolls his foot over the top, and then shoots with his right, and it's a decent save, but it also gets a deflection.
Bang on the hour mark, still scoreless, but it is blown into life in the last couple of minutes. Here comes Charlie Taylor down the left-hand side, too easily away from Pereira. Then he cuts inside, heavy touch, runs into Ivanovic, who's tearing forward like his team are 1-0 down in the 93rd minute.
He's playing like a 20-year-old, isn't he, Ivanovic? He's been the best player on the pitch. He probably should have scored
for months.
Yeah, it's incredible. He looks $1 million.
Yeah, out to the right-hand side. Lovely little looping chip ball by Gallagher, but Pereira just slows things down again, turns it back to Livermore, and then he's brought down, and that's a free kick over on the right hand side in the Burnley half. Still 0-0. We're just waiting for the ball to be retrieved by the oldest ball boy there's ever been in a football stadium, because of course you're not allowed them anymore. But to give you an idea now, we're up to 11 attempts on goal for West Brom, 4 on target. I think 3 were in that.
Yeah, 3 in that 10-second period.
Absolutely. And finally the well, I don't know what he is, but he is the oldest ball boy ever. And he's got the ball and he's having to launch his... Well, we've got another ball in the meantime. Amazing.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely mad that we had to wait for that. He's finally got it. And all that effort, we've got a different ball anyway. Free kick on Dean Gardner, foul by Peters.
Well, I mean, if Burnley are settling for this, which it seems to me that they are with half an hour left, then you really need to have an attacking player who's got some pace in behind, because the only way you're going to score is going to be on the break.
They've only won once at West Brom in the Premier League, and that was the last time, although this might be a chance, headed towards goal, hit the bar, cross from the right hand side, it found Wood, and he's smashed it with his head onto the top of the crossbar and over.
Oh, and that is the break. That's exactly it. It's a break. It comes from poor West Brom play, overplaying. It's a hopeful ball lofted forward. Gudmundsson does really well. Gets a little Cruyff back to Brown, who crosses it, and Wood is completely unmarked. He does all the right things trying to head it back across goal, but it's a poor header because he's free in the middle of the goal. And you know, if you're Chris Wood and if you're Sean Dyche and Burnley, that is why Chris Wood is in this team, to score those types of chances, and it honestly was harder to miss.
He will be furious with himself. Sean Dyche screws up his face in frustration. Here's Peters. The throw, gets it back, gives it to McNeil. Little trick to get away from Gallagher, turns away from him again. Square ball out to the left hand side for Taylor. Taylor down the line, looking for Wood. Firmly drilled back down the touchline again. Brownhill. Taylor. McNeil is running back towards the halfway line. Turns to face up Livermore. That's a good pass out to the left for Taylor. Plenty of time for the cross. What's it like? Can't beat Ivanovic, but it's up rather than out. Might bounce out again. Slipped in by Brownhill to the left side of the 18-yard box. Wood prevents the goal kick by turning it out to Taylor. Taylor's cross is diverted into the box via the deflection from Furlong. Header away by Ivanovic. Furlong then leaps over Taylor, and Taylor is adjudged to have fouled the right back. It's a free kick to West Brom.
They're just getting a bit ragged, aren't they, West Brom? Just getting a little bit ragged. Burnley have obviously just given themselves a little bit of a glimmer that they might get something from this game, a little bit of confidence. And we're just getting a replay of Chris Wood. He heads it back across the goalkeeper. Johnson is beaten all ends up, but he's got to keep it down, and he doesn't. It clips the top of the crossbar. Burnley should be one up. It's a gilt-edged chance.
NWSCK Samuel, I hope I've pronounced your name right, has tweeted us in. I know the game's lacked a bit of creativity, but there will be goals in this game. No goalless game, remember, he said, has been recorded after 39 matches. I don't expect that to change today. And Jack Frost has been in touch. Probably not the Jack Frost. Hello from LA. It's a bit murky and polluted outside, so here's a photo of my shelf instead to cheer you up. He said enjoying the comms even if the match is dull. He's got two little yellow chicks, a mini guitar, a bottle of scotch, and a bottle of American whiskey to boot. So,
nice.
Yeah, very nice. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Long ball forward by the goalkeeper, flicked on by Wood, straight through to Johnston, the keeper. High throw out to the halfway line on the left hand side. Krovinovic, Dejan Gardner tries the clever flick. Peters fell for it. Free kick to West Brom. High up the field, out on the left hand side. 25 to play. 0-0.
Yeah, it's good actually for us, because both teams have given each other a little shot across the bows.
Definitely livened up this second half. The goal would really liven things up, because as we mentioned right at the start, this match is huge.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Dejan Gardner, it's Pereira I should say, to take. Tight to the left touchline. Plenty of height to aim for again. Ivanovic and Hegazi, two who have made their way forwards. Here comes the free kick, and that's straight into the arms of Nick Pope. Of course it is. Rolled out low to the left hand side to McNeil. Can he keep it in? He's done really well. McNeil getting forward now, moving in from the left hand side. Poor touch, just ran him into Dejan Gardner, but he's managed to work it out to Barnes. Back to McNeil, low drive, doesn't quite get the accuracy, didn't really get the contact that he'd hoped for, and it's rolled wide of the left hand post of Sam Johnston, who just watched it go, and that's a goal kick.
Oh, it's such a shame, because if anyone on this pitch on either team is going to do anything, it's going to come from McNeil. He, from an attacking point of view, he has been the best player on the pitch.
But why does he rarely stick to the touchline? That felt there like a real opportunity to drive and get the crosses into the two giants in the middle. I mean, that's Burnley's whole tactic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Their raison d'etre.
No, I totally agree. I think he's just had enough. Honestly, I think it's just putting the balls into the box and no one is getting on the end of them. And even when they do, which is Chris Wood,
we hit the crossbar.
We're not finishing crosses that we should. And sometimes players just get a little bit, bored with the status quo.
Here's Brownhill high up on the left-hand side. Just a hint of handball in that, but he's knocked it back in towards McNeil and he's found Barnes. Oh, goodness me! Good save by Johnston, but it came straight back at Wood, who adjusted as well as he could. But once again, he can only head it onto the top of the bar and over. So close again for Burnley. Somehow, though, it's still 0-0.
Here's McNeil again. Honestly, what you just said, why doesn't he cross the ball? Well, he does here. He gets a touch out of his feet, crosses it. It goes to Ashley Barnes. It's a bullet header.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant header, and it's an equally fantastic save from Johnson because it's going right in the corner. Three Burnley players unmarked in the box, which is worrying enough. Barnes will wonder how he hasn't scored, and the reason he hasn't scored is because it's a brilliant save from Johnston. He palms it back out to Wood. I'm not sure if Wood is offside, but for the second time in about 10 minutes, the ball comes back to him and he heads it against the bar.
Yeah, twice in 7 minutes, and we've seen enough from Sean Dyche. He has made his first change of the game, and he's brought on Robbie Brady for Johan Berg Gudmundsson, who does rarely start games anymore and has been carrying a little bit of a knock during the international break, so perhaps no surprise that he doesn't last 90 minutes. He's been very, very quiet, hasn't he, Gudmundsson?
Yeah.
Certainly can't remember a delivery of any sort from the right-hand side from him.
No.
Brady has just been a straight swap, but he's a left-footer, so might offer something different.
Yeah, he's there. He was obviously there to nullify Dean Gardner and that whole threat down the left from West Brom, which he did. To be fair, he did it really well. He's went about his business, and we haven't really seen anything from Dean Gardner or anything from West Brom down that left-hand side.
Here is Pereira inside left. Dean Gardner is available up the line if he wants. Instead comes back down it to Townsend. Now Kravinovic gets it back from Townsend. Forward ball to Dean Gardner. Just had him on the stretch there, and he's given it away to Peters. Peters up to Barnes. Chest control is good. Second touch not so much. Gives it to Gallagher. Back by Furlong to the keeper Johnston. Careful attempted pass out to the far side. He's massively overhit. Straight into touch. Throw in. Taylor takes. Up to McNeil. McNeil goes down with Ivanovic at his back. Somehow emerges with the ball and then is brought down again. It will be a free kick from the far side. And we're going to see another change, I think, here. Just wait to see. Yeah, Callum Robinson's going to come on. West Brom's top goal scorer so far, with 3 in all competitions, 2 of those in the league. Will Carlin Grant be the man to come off? Usually they don't make subs when they're defending set pieces managers. I never really understand that. It's almost just superstitious, isn't it, really? But their set piece delivery, does it beat a 2-man wall from out wide on the left? Awful. Throw in. McNeil gets it back, takes on Dean Gardner, continues his run. He's done really well towards the corner flag, delivered deep towards the back post. Hegazi is there, heads towards the near side. Do well to prevent the throw there, and I think he did, but then he played it against Brady and it bounced back off of the Egyptian into touch near side, throw into Burnley that they've taken quickly. Brownhill back to halfway for Peters, into the centre circle, gets it back from Tarkowski. Brownhill, that's better. Could gone on, little back heel something from Brady, would have found him in a load of space down the right. Instead, I guess it's the Burnley way, isn't it? Safety first. They're back with their goalkeeper.
Yeah, they have ramped it up a little bit though. The intensity from Burnley's play has just gone up a notch.
Diagonal ball looking for Taylor. That one will drift away. Throw into the Baggies, which will come after this substitution, which is probably going to be Grant, I suspect. That's exactly who it is. He's had that one chance that he did put away, but he was just a shade offside, and so Callum Robinson will get his opportunity. Not too dissimilar a player it has to be said, as they hug each other as he goes off. You can even see they're very similar heights, so it's just some fresh legs, really, not much more than that. And we wait to see whether Callum Robinson can do something that Carlin Grant could not, but certainly a performance full of running from Grant, if not necessarily full of quality, but you might argue that's more about service than anything else. Gallagher bundles past McNeil, being chased by Brownhill and Taylor. He'll do well to get out of this, and he has done well to provide himself a throw. Bounced off of the shins of Taylor. 17 left for play. We are headed for our first scoreless match in the Premier League this season. So history of sorts, which is what we're all in the game for, of course. Furlong's cross is blocked. Throw in again on the far side. Jogs after the ball and says, I'm going to launch this into the box, to Robinson, who had come short. Instead he does go short to Gallagher, gets it back, tries to get it out of his feet and get the cross in. Blocked by McNeil. Corner to West Brom. The quality of some of these have been terrible, but they have provided opportunities at times, so certainly a chance again, and Ivanovic and Hegazi head forward for it. Robinson will lurk in front of the keeper. Tarkowski's marking Hegazi. There's the delivery towards Ivanovic. It was Tarkowski that got underneath it. Looped ball back into the box by Livermore. It's dropped into the arms of Nick Pope.
There again, though, I mean, you've got to cross 75 minutes. You're the home team. 4 players in the box West Brom have committed.
Peters coming forward. Accidental trick took him away from... He's going to be happy to take the throw. West Brom, from their 4 games, have got the joint worst defence in the Premier League, alongside, believe it or not, Liverpool. And they've played a game more, Liverpool, of course, so you'd think that chances would be coming Burnley's way at some point. Maybe now? No. Foul by Brownhill. Really unnecessary foul to give away on Gallagher. The other thing you would say is that between them, these two sides kept 29 clean sheets last season in their respective leagues, so maybe that tells you a lot as well. Ashley Barnes is being substituted for Jay Rodriguez, man formerly of this parish. Scored a very good record, actually, when he played for the Baggies. More than 1 in 3, 33 goals in 90 appearances, which for a club of West Brom's stature is not bad at all. And there was a question mark about his fitness before this one. Had an ankle problem, but he's on now. Just hoping for the ball through by Brady there, but he didn't get the contact on it. And then Krovinovic has gone down under a challenge by Ashley Westwood, who knew exactly what he was doing.
It's a naughty one.
This is worth a yellow card, and he's taken it.
It is a naughty one. He knew exactly what was happening there. Ivanovic had got away from him, and he just clips the back of his feet. Westwood, and he gets the deserved yellow card.
If I gave you a $5 right now, are you putting it?
I'll take it.
Are you putting it on? Are you putting it on 0-0, or are you putting it on a goal?
I'm not putting it on this game. I'm putting it.
That's
put it
not
on
what
something
I'm
else.
asking
I'll put it on something else.
There are conditions to this $5. Tarkowski has it on the edge of his own box. McNeil takes it off of his toes. Comes back into his area for Taylor, and he'll boom that one away Burnley style. Wood just got underneath it, quite drop as he'd hoped, and Ivanovic brought it under control. What a performance from him in his 37th year, first performance in the Premier League in 4 years. Cross from the left hand side by Townsend. It's good, surely! Oh, down into the ground. by, it was Pereira coming in from the right-hand side, and it looped up, and Pope just rose high enough to tip it wide.
Oh, it's a fabulous ball. It's a fabulous ball, but it doesn't connect with it, Pereira. He really doesn't get anything like the connection that he should. It's a half-hearted...
I'll tell you why. I think Gallagher gets in his eye line.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
That Gallagher's going to hit it, and so he had to readjust, and he just couldn't adjust quick enough.
Yeah, it's a really ungainly finish, actually, from Pereira. He sort of comes onto it, the ball, by the time he comes onto it, the ball's behind him. He ends up hitting it left-footed, almost like a scissor kick, but off his side foot into the ground. Bounces up, and Pope is able to push it wide quite comfortably, actually, in the end. It really, honestly, that's a great chance.
Corner again for West Brom, taken short. They come out to Sawyers, who's just come on. His first touch is to wallop it over the crossbar. I was just about to tell you about that substitution, which was being made while Dave was explaining what had happened there. Romain Sawyers has come on for Filip Krovinovic. His first Premier League start comes to an end, and it's still 0-0 with 11 to play. And Nick Pope will take this goal kick. I won't lie, I'm running out of statistics today.
I think in this league, I've got a monitor in front of me that's showing me the Premier League table, goals against, and all the rest of it, and I just don't believe anything that I'm really even seeing, even though it's in black and white.
Bizarre.
You just think, all right, Burnley have conceded this many goals, West Brom have conceded that many goals, but the next game they might concede 7, and it skews everything.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing you might believe, though, if I told you before this game, is that with 10 minutes to go it might still be scoreless.
Yeah.
This is the most normal thing that's happened in the Premier League so far this season.
This is the most predictable. Yeah.
The one playing to type. Here comes Livermore. Ball got caught under his feet slightly as he tried to get away from Jay Rodriguez, but he's moved it out right to Gallagher. Back by Furlong to the keeper Johnston, who's outside of his area on the right, and he'll go long. That one just dropped over Tarkowski's head. Robinson chases it. Long is there. Hooked into touch far side. Throw into the Baggins. Into the final 10 minutes we go. Kevin Long looks like he's developing a black eye during this game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's already developed, I think. Yeah, he's definitely had a whack.
There's the ball down the right-hand side for Gallagher to chase, and he's got to the byline. What's the ball like? Oh, the keeper's come and claimed. That was necessary from Pope, because there was a striker flying in. I think it was Dean Gardner, and Pope, safe hands.
Yeah, he does well, Pope. Just to alleviate the danger, reads it really, really well. It's a good burst forward from Gallagher, actually. The first time we've seen him do it. He gets a cut back. Dean Gardner, credit to him, he's coming all the way in from the left wing, right across the near post. And he's there. If the ball is good, he's there to finish it. And Pope reads it really well.
Peters has the ball on the right-hand side. Back into his own half for Long. Long goes up to Jay Rodriguez, chested down, little flick with the outside of his boot by Brady to Westwood, moves into the centre of the field and then gets it back from Tarkowski. Westwood, Jay Rodriguez out to the right for Brady, whose miscontrol means that the referee can go back, revisit the challenge on Rodriguez.
He's very lucky.
The free kick.
He's a very lucky boy, because he completely miscontrols it, and I don't think it's that much of a foul on Rodriguez, who gets his pass away. There's a complete miscontrol from Brady on the far touchline.
That was a free kick, though, wasn't it? I think that was a free kick.
Well, I think it's a little bit generous, but he wouldn't have. If Brady controls that ball, he doesn't give it, does he?
No, of course not. No, you've got the advantage as the opportunity, but it came to Now, and so this free kick is actually probably a little bit more central than they'd have liked. McNeil and Westwood over it. These two sides cancelling each other out at this stage. Still time to change that, though. Here's Westwood's delivery, straight ball towards the goal, flicked up into the sky by Livermore. Johnston prevents the corner and then rolls low out to the right-hand side for Sawyers. Smashed to the ground by Tarkowski, but he also got the ball, so no foul. He's picked himself up, and here's McNeil having a run at the West Brom defence. McNeil, high cross out to the right side of the box. Wood touches it back to Brady. There's the bending cross just over the head of the onrushing J. Rodriguez and into the arms of Johnston.
Hey, what a touch that was from Chris. It was an unbelievable touch. Outside of his right boot, plays the ball back to Brady, and he wants it back, and he should get it back because he's in space. And Brady instead tries to go for the curler into the far corner, and the angle's just not on. And Johnston is set, catches it quite easily.
Just briefly, they were out of their shape.
Yeah, they were. They were ragged just for a moment. Yeah.
Brady has it right back for Burnley, shooting from left to right. Bright yellow jerseys, pretty much the only thing brightening up this evening so far in the Premier League. Wolves and Leeds to come. Still time for this one to provide a moment of magic. McNeil trying to do so. That one's bounced back onto him as he tried the cross though, and it's a throw in to West Brom. Yeah, he's not going to get that decision changed, is he? 6 to go. And it does feel like they're sort of settling the West Brom players for this. You know, they're taking their time over this throw.
I think everyone's settled here. I think everyone has settled, and I'm surprised.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. But it smacks of a game where everyone has settled for it. Don't get beat. The most important thing, don't get beat. But I think there's a huge opportunity here for a team that actually thinks, you know what, we're going to go for it.
Be brave.
Yeah, exactly.
Be brave. What's interesting, I mean, it reminds me of the quote that I read from Slaven Bilic ahead of this one. He said we need to outrun them, outfocus them, we need to have more motivation, determination and positive craziness. Well, there's been nothing.
We haven't seen any of that.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. There's been a bit of work ethic, but from both teams, but nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that you would not associate with a Premier League team.
I mean, West Brom's problem was always going to be goals. It's why they brought Grant in. You look at last season, Charlie Austin can't get a game. He was their top scorer in the Championship with 11. That was the best, and I think that's going to be a handball against Wood. Yeah, he's going to give that. It was Robbie Brady decided to go for goal anyway after the whistle had gone, but easy save for Johnston. Yeah, so Austin, Robson-Kanu, he's injured. He got 10, and then there were 8 each for Dean, Gardner, Pereira and Phillips as well, who's still on the substitutes bench today. Matt Phillips, the Scot. So when you look at that, you're thinking, right, where the goal's going to come from in the Premier League, if that's the best you can muster in a promotion-winning Championship side. I suppose there's an element of sharing the goals around is good, but I always think in the Premier League, a team that might get relegated can finish about 10th if they get a goal scorer. I sort of thought that about Southampton last season, you know, without Ings.
Yeah, without Ings, exactly.
And if, say, Villa or Watford or whoever had Ings, you're thinking, well, they're sort of 12th or 13th.
Yeah.
And that's what both of these two teams look like they're lacking at this moment in time. Sawyers loses out to McNeil. He's been the one bright spot at times in this game. He's turned it to the left for Taylor. Heavy touch, good tackle that. Really good tackle that by the man on loan from Chelsea, Conor Gallagher. Been tidy, I suppose, on his Premier League debut.
But he's been sound, hasn't he? He's been sound. I mean, you know, no reason really to pull him out for anything that he's done, which has been out of the ordinary. And he's gone about his business pretty well.
Header on by Brownhill, but Rodriguez realised he was offside. Sean Dyche is billowing.
Yeah, he's nervous. He's nervous. Nobody wants to lose this game. It's got to that point now where we're not going to try and win it. We're just not going to lose it.
I think we're getting mocked by Kev Watson, by the way, who's just tweeted he's set and ready to go for commentary on that TalkSport Live of Leeds against Wolves with Adam Inca. Goals in this one, surely, he's said. Like somehow he's not convinced in the next 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time we're getting one in this game.
No, but what I will say, actually, I mean, I think Kev's right. What I will say is when you look at Leeds, there are teams, look, even if it's a 0-0, you'll still watch teams and you'll enjoy what you're watching.
Yes.
You know, this isn't enjoyable. These aren't two teams, really.
I think it's called playing football in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. These aren't two teams that you and I are watching now who adding anything really to the Premier League experience. Whereas you look at Leeds and Bielsa and you think, yeah, do you know what? They might get beat, they might not score, but we'll be entertained by the way they're going about their business.
West Brom are bringing on a little bit more powerful attacking midfielder in Matt Phillips now for Mateus Pereira, their most creative midfielder. Pereira usually, but Phillips has come on. Robinson, I don't think I've mentioned his name since he's been on. Callum Robinson.
No.
Ball given away. Brownhill picks up, gives it to McNeil, working in tight spaces. Forward from the left back position, comes straight back at them, then a nod out by Tarkowski to the far side. Throw in to be taken by Furlong. Midpoint of the Burnley half on the right. If they can keep Ivanovic fit, though, that makes a huge difference at the back based on today, doesn't it? He's been superb.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him. I really, 36-year-old. I don't think. Look, if you're bringing in a player that hasn't played for a long time, he's 36. He's new to a team, and you don't test him, then how do you expect to win games? And they haven't tested him, Burnley, at all. There's no one has gone in behind him, no one has run him, no one's given him even Chris Wood, who you would expect would provide a physical battle for Ivanovic, hasn't done it. And he's been really, really good. He's been really assured of Ivanovic, but he hasn't been tested, not anywhere near.
We're in the final minute of the 90. Nice control by Wood, plenty of space for McNeil to get a cross in. Magnetized to Ivanovic's head. Dean Gardner up the line for Robinson. Can Robinson run long? Takes it down the left hand side. Long sticks to his task. Well, there's been a couple of times where Long's been a bit exposed one-on-one there, and he's dealt with it well. Did one in the first half as well, a really good challenge when he looked like he might be second favourite, and he's done it there well too. We are moving into stoppage time. If we were still playing tomorrow, I suspect this one would be 0-0. Sawyers, Townsend, up to Robinson, wide play to his head, he's up against Land of the Giants. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Sorry listeners, you've got to stick with us for that. From claiming, it will drop behind for the corner.
Yeah, they just got a little bit ragged. It's a long ball, and Wood makes a nuisance of himself. Ivanovic panics a little bit, clears with his wrong foot. He should go with his left, get it up the pitch. He doesn't. He goes with his right, skies it straight over his own goal. And with 2 minutes left of the 3, this is a great opportunity for Burnley.
Send your keeper up. Don't do that. Here's McNeil then. What's the quality like? Straight to the keeper. Oh, he spilled it! And it's away towards the edge of the box. It'll be picked up by Brownhill. Back by Brady to the left-hand side. Needs some help. I think it was Tarkowski over there. West Brom will break. First touch not the best, and then over the ball slightly goes Phillips, and he's got a yellow card for his trouble. Terrible ball into the box, really, wasn't it, by McNeil from the set piece. Well, look, the one thing you would say for Burnley is that they're, as things stand, not going to be left on 0 points. They've got a game in hand, and they are not beaten. They've got to take a positive from this, haven't they? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, look, they're going to get a point on the board here, but at the same time, Sean Dyche has got to be thinking,
opportunity missed.
Yeah, massively.
Taylor, long straight ball forward. Tarkowski's gone up front, smacked away by Townsend to go for it. Brownhill wins it, but it only falls for the Baggies right back Furlong, nodded into touch on this near side by Taylor. This is the last attack of the game now for West Brom if they want. Have they got the desire to get the ball forward?
There's only one chance left here.
Sawyers, get her away, and And it might just run here. They're going to come forward. This is good running here by Phillips, left side of the box. Drills the ball across to absolutely nobody. And that just about sums up the game. Out on the right-hand side. Ball in again. Keeper's going to come. Keeper's going to claim. And that should be the last action of this absolutely drab Premier League encounter. One game left of match day in the Premier League. And we've finally got to the point of a 0-0. Match day 5 with one game left, and we've seen West Brom 0, Burnley 0, and it has not exactly been one that we will remember. One for the purists. Burnley finally, though, do get off the mark for the season. West Brom, I suppose it's a second point. Positives, Dave, if you can think of any whatsoever. It was one that those two players, two sets of teams, will have to take from this game. Carlin Grant made his debut, Ivanovic made his debut, Gallagher made the debut. They do ask, don't they, can you do it on a cold night against Burnley? I'm replacing Stoke with that now, aren't I? Because you have to, but, well, some of these players, Grant and Gallagher, have proven that they can. But it has finished West Brom 0, Burnley 0, and I mean, it's been a disappointing one, I suppose you would say, but we've got Leeds against Wolves to come, and I think, Dave, you still there, Dave?
Yeah, I'm
still there. You're contemplating your thoughts.
I was dropping
gathered
off
them.
Yeah, it's look, I try not to be too. I understand how vital it is sometimes to get a point, and how difficult it is to win Premier League football matches and the work that goes into them. But what was just served up to us there was an embarrassment, frankly, from both teams. If the Premier League lost both of those teams, you wouldn't miss them. I just found it, frankly, really disheartening that there are two teams who need points and yet don't seem to want to try to win the game.
Some of the teams that went down last season at least tried to play football. I mean, in Norwich, I know they lacked some quality, but they didn't half try and play football, so I can understand the point. Listen, it has finished here in the most disappointing of circumstances, it has to be said. The first 0-0 of the season. It's finished West Brom 0, Burnley 0. There were some highlights, though. Here's McNeil with the delivery, bending deep and away towards the back post. That was a push in the box. That's surely a penalty. It's come out to the far side. There's the header on goal. Might drop into the box for Barnes. It does, and it's pushed away by Johnston. Now surely the VAR.
The VAR's going to have a look at this.
Have
surely.
a look at that. That was a clear push.
Surely.
Well, I don't know what Darren England's doing, the VAR today, but he's not told Anthony Taylor to even have a look at it himself. They've just had a corner. They've completely wasted it. West Brom come away, and I still think Burnley should have had a penalty. Maybe a chance for Dejan Gardner to chase from the pass out the left-hand side now. Gets on his bike. He's got Krovinovic outside of him. Instead into Grant, and there is the opening goal, and the offside flag is up.
Yeah, he did look offside.
Now Krovinovic back to Pereira. Slips in Dejan Gardner down by the byline. Nice trick. Dejan Gardner drilled in, surely. Absolutely smashed towards goal by Ivanovic. How has it stayed out? Back in it goes. Half cleared by Pope. Ivanovic goes in. Extraordinary melee in the box, and somehow it's gone behind. This might be a chance. Headed towards goal. Hit the bar. Cross from the right hand side. It found Wood, and he's smashed it with his head onto the top of the crossbar and over. Tip back in towards McNeil, and he's found Barnes. Oh, goodness me. Good save by Johnston, but it came straight back at Wood, who adjusted as well as he could, but once again he can only head it onto the top of the bar and over. So it did finish West Brom 0, Burnley 0. The good news for fans of those clubs is that it climbs them up the table. Burnley now up into 18th. West Brom outside the relegation zone. And I guess, Dave, if you're West Brom, you've just got to think, well, we're 17th and we just have to keep ahead of 3 teams over the course of the season. But do you see enough there in these 2 sides that they can do that?
No, I think they're both going to be where they are now, or thereabouts.
Or worse.
Yeah, at the end of the season. I really don't. I think, look, if you've got your main striker missing gilt-edged opportunities, which Chris Wood did twice when he headed onto the bar when he really should have scored. He was awful, but he could have had 2 goals today.
Yeah.
If that's not going well, if that game plan isn't working, Burnley don't have a plan B. They barely have a plan A, to be honest with you. It's that bad watching it.
Whose fault's that?
There's been no investment.
So it's a lack of quality.
Yeah, look.
So you're saying Dyche is doing what he can with these players?
I reckon if I was to do an interview with Sean Dyche tomorrow, and it was and he told me he was really honest and frank, and he told me the truth, he would say, "What do you expect me to do? I haven't got the funds. I wanted to add this player or that player, or I wanted to do this."
Why doesn't he leave?
It's funny because I did do an interview with him about 18 months ago, and he said it was really interesting because he said that he felt that he was almost typecast, that he was typecast into that Burnley role, and that people only saw the shaved head and the gruff voice and those were his words. That's what he said.
Listen, fascinating thoughts. Thank you so much, Dave. I have actually really enjoyed it. Working with you this evening has been good fun, even if the match didn't live up to expectations. It's finished West Brom 0, Burnley 0. Coming up, Leeds against Wolves. I promise it'll be better. I've been Toby Gillis, he's been Dave Kitts, and this has been Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale.